What's up, everybody? Hey, everybody, and welcome. My name is Gentry, and welcome to today's video, which, oh my gosh, it's outside. This is just something new I'm experimenting with. If the audio or the video is off at all, sorry about that. I'm working on it. But I thought, we can just try some different things. You and me, we need to experiment a little bit, get out of our comfort zone. While the setting of today's video may be unconventional, the topic is tried and true. We are going to be looking at 3 tips to run a better D&D game. Let's begin. This first tip isn't exactly a tip as much as it is just making an awareness of a tool. So many times we say that, okay, battle maps can either be grids or we can do theater of the mind. There is no in between. But lately I've been playing a game called Cypher System, which works very different from D&D. You don't have specific and precise foot measurements. Oh, I have 30 feet of movement per turn. No, in this system, you do immediate distances, short distances, long distances, and they are estimations. It's like, okay, well, I've got 10 feet of movement, up to 50 feet of movement, or 100 feet of movement. The game gets very superhero-ish, or, like sometimes it denotes, okay, you can use this telepathic ability, but it has to be within a long distance or within 100 feet. And then there's obviously like a very long distance, which is like 1,000 feet away or something like that. So I saw this in the Discord of the Cypher System Unlimited, which is their Discord channel, and I'll put a graphic up on the screen. It's essentially just like, it's a concept map. It is not a battle map where you have this strict line of grids and you're thinking in a X, Y, and even Z axis if you have flight, but rather it's kind of like, okay, this thing is close to this thing is close to this thing. We're not just saying it in our brains, we're also visualizing it. I think a way that you could easily implement this into D&D is just have each square or like each section of the circle represent maybe 30 feet of movement. If anything, I think it would probably be a better transition for a group to go from theater of the mind to this than theater of the mind to battle maps, or vice versa. If you're like, battle maps is becoming a little bit difficult because battle maps are hard, right? You have a lot of pieces in play. You have to have maps, grids, you have to have a lot of set pieces or at least a lot of drawing. That's what we did a lot. We have like dry erase battle maps, and then you have to have the minis and everything. It just becomes a lot versus on this, there's just a lot less pieces that you have to have in play. But that's my first tip. Check it out. I'll put a link below. And actually, I myself made it into a transparency that I can overlay onto pictures and stuff. Again, just for flavor, not because we're actually using a battle map here. But maybe you can use it in your game. And I recommend at least asking your group about it and checking it out. My next tip is for those of you who maybe struggle with preparation. And I mean in the way of I prepare too much, or maybe if you prepare too little, this would help you gauge what's important.
So this next part I thought was called DLSS rendering, but apparently that is wrong. It's called culling. So you're going to hear me call this specific video game rendering technique out a couple times by just a completely wrong name. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's called culling. It's not DLSS. Don't at me.
I'm kind of a computer nerd. I built my own computer. I'm into PC gaming. And one technology that is being more and more used in PC gaming is called DLSS. And what that is essentially it's a way of rendering where it only provides the highest fidelity of detail to the places where you are looking. There's a really great example of this for Horizon Zero Dawn. Great game, by the way, where it shows as the view of the person changes and looks around, again, the fidelity of the detail increases to those areas. So you don't need to render every bit of data that's off view because they can't see it, right? I think we should apply this to game mastering and preparation as game masters. So here's what I would do is I would say you should have a general idea of where everything is, right? That is how the game itself is programmed in DLSS and all that stuff. Like they don't just decide once they look over there what is there, although that will happen sometimes in your D&D games. However, more the focus is, okay, I'm not going to spend a ton of time and energy and thought developing this part because they're not even looking that direction to begin with. I know that those pieces are over there, but at this moment, that's not the most important thing that I should be concerned of. Being a game master isn't all about saving time. I mean, you got to do what you enjoy, right? Some people really enjoy building every microscopic piece of the world. But if you are strapped for time this week, maybe consider that approach, the DLSS approach. And then this next tip is one that I'm wary of giving because I hate telling people what to do exactly, but I think that it's worth it. And that is never say, I don't know, but do say, give me a minute. I'm a big Matt Colville fan. I think that he has an amazing way of talking about D&D and tabletop RPGs and gaming altogether. And he brought it up in a video one time where he said, essentially, once you say, I don't know, you've broken immersion, because they are no longer watching a movie in a video game. They're no longer in the scene. They're now at a table waiting for you to come up with an answer. There's nothing left to their imagination because you didn't give them anything to imagine. You just said that doesn't exist, and I'm admitting that to you. It's the ultimate game of I know everything, and you have to just trust that I know everything. However, the other part to what I was saying there was not just say, I don't know, but say, give me a minute. Because there are going to be times when your players are doing something and you're not prepared for it, and they're making a weird play or a weird call, and it's so impossible for you to figure out in a split second what's going to happen. It's not wrong to just go, yeah, give me a second on that, and then just start looking down at your notes as if you are flipping through pages somewhere trying to find a specific answer. I'm convinced that Matt Mercer does this on Critical Role, because there are times when he starts flipping through pages and he may have something there, but more than likely he's giving himself 20-30 seconds to decide something. And while you're saying give me a minute and you're looking through notes, the players are not going, oh well, this doesn't exist. Oh, well, we're just at a table playing a game and now we've got to wait on the game master. No, the machine is still rolling. It's just in it's like an idle, if that makes sense. Like they're like, oh yeah, no, the game's still going. He has the answers there somewhere. He's just looking it up. We're waiting for that to develop. And while we're waiting for that to develop, we can talk about something going on over here. It's okay to be human with your players. I have actually not too long ago, a few weeks ago, I told my players just outright, we are so far off track. I am a little bit lost. And that's okay. That's probably happened a couple times in the past 3 or 4 years that we've been playing together as a group. But essentially what was going on is they're playing teens and they were doing this investigation. And I said, yeah, there's this huge armored truck with a machine gun on top. And they were like, okay, we follow the truck. And I was like, he's got like laser goggles and he's looking everywhere. Are you sure you want to follow? They're like, yeah, we want to follow. And then they rolled amazing on their stealth rolls. And so they go into this, they see the truck pull into a facility and then they tail behind him. And I was like, there are like 7 snipers posted up in this seemingly abandoned facility, all with laser scopes and night optics and all this stuff. Are you sure you want to continue? And they're like, yeah, we want to continue. And of course they roll natural 20s on their stealth again. And the funny thing was I kept on throwing all these threats up, expecting that to deter them. But what that was telling them was, we are looking at something so important right now. We have to keep going. What I did is I erred on the side of, okay, don't stop. Don't let the game stop moving. Just keep making stuff up until they get the hint that this is not the place for them. But what continued to happen was, oh, this is so interesting. We are on the precipice of something super groundbreaking, which fair enough. Why would you have an armored truck and snipers everywhere if that wasn't someplace that was super important, right? But I was trying to say, please don't go here because you're a 14-year-old kid. You're not going to make it. I think that this is a format that I like and that I'll probably implement more in the future. I feel super awkward right now, but you know what? That's just awkwardness is the sign of doing something new. And you know what? Sometimes we just have to learn how to do new things. I'm also, just so you know, I guess a little bit of announcement time. This is when my retention rate is going to go from like 30% down to 2 because my retention rate's not that good anyways. Kind of makes me sad. However, I'm thinking about expanding outside of D&D. Because I'm into a lot of stuff, truthfully. I like inventing and creating and doing a lot of things that are not just Dungeons and Dragons. And so I'm really considering like a rebrand. And I think now would be the time to do it. I'm not that big. I've got 2,000 subscribers. It's not that many, you know? And I think it's fair enough that I can expand outside of my niche when I really haven't built up an insane audience to begin with, right? Now is the time. If I'm already getting bored of D&D and I'm expecting to do this for another 3 years before I see potential like job growth, right? Like the ability for this channel to grow and to the point where I can actually work a job, then I need to make changes now to prepare myself for then. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to build myself into this very specific tower that I don't want to reside in, if that makes sense. So I'll continue to do Dungeons and Dragons content because I'm extremely passionate about Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm also extremely passionate about like 1,000 other things. So you're going to see other stuff like that too. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Good luck out there, adventurer.